Hello, friends, colleagues, students, and VB.NET learners. I'm going to explain today how to build Windows form application where you may use more than one form. There are, if you just go to YouTube and type Windows form application in VB.NET with multiple forms, you'll get a lot of videos, at least 3 or 4. Some of them are good, but one video I watched was a good video, but it was not kind of relevant. You could do that without multiple forms. So here we are going to show an application where you cannot really do it without multiple forms. So first of all, and once again introduce myself, Dr. Satish Singhal, PhD. I'm a professor of computer information technology at Rose State College in Midwest City in Oklahoma, near Oklahoma City. And this is my blog, softwareengineerusa.blogspot.com, and videos are linked on that blog, as well as source code is posted there as well. Okay. So none of the real applications in software industry, when you have Windows application, none of them are single form. There are always multiple forms. So it's important to know how to build those. Well, we have done we've done a employee class and employee list class. An employee list class, after building these two classes, we had a menu driven program which kind of ran like this. It has a lot of menu items, and if I run it, I can do certain things. Okay, I think it has some build errors, so shouldn't be really, but okay. So we'll just run the okay, so there is some problem. I'm not able to run it right now, so I'm going to pause the video and come back. Okay, I'm back. There was a minor error in the app config file. I just had to delete it basically, and it's working now. So it'll have a menu like this: add employee to employee list from the keyboard. If I type 1, I'm getting these, and I put some graphical components here. You can always do that, although it doesn't really make that a Windows application. Sam Jones. Social security number, let's say 223344. Hours worked 40. Pay rate 10. Add, enter 1 to add more employees, 0 to stop. I'm just going to stop it. And if I use 3, option 3, I can print what I added, and Sam Jones, and the data is added. But really, this is a pretty laborious way to run software or software application. If we can do that through a menu driven program, that will be really much better. So I'm going to exit that. So really what we want to do is we want to build a Windows application where we can do the menus. Okay, and that was shown once before, but let's repeat that. To do Windows application with the menu, I'm just going to start the third instance of Visual Studio. Something's funny here. Okay, so in VB.NET we will, for Windows application, as we always do, and I'm making video. It takes a lot of RAM on Windows computer especially, so everything will be slow. So all the young people, just wait, relax. It's not going to be as fast as you think it will be. New project. This hourglass, this circle just becomes terrible when I make videos. Windows Form application, and just name it, let's say, menu app. So it's building it right now. It will be a lot slower than you think, you'll expect. It's hoping faster than that, but that's okay. Okay, so first thing we need to do, we need to put a menu strip which allows us to put many menus in there. So we go to our toolbox here, and we go to menu. It's right here, I think. Menu and toolbars item here, and drag and drop the menu strip. It puts this over here. If I click here and go to properties, I can change the fonts and things. Really, that's all I want to do, change the fonts. Rest is default is okay, and this is the font. Again, that so that you can see it a little bit clear in the video. Otherwise, it's not a problem. Okay, so in menu building, we can type the top level menu here, process employees, and let's say I want to replicate the functionality of adding employees from the keyboard. I can do that here, add employee, keyboard input. Okay, and let's say I want to set a side menu, print, and underneath I have print to text box. You can do that, and you can build as many as you like to complete the functionality. Now if I'm going to print to text box, I need a text box, so you can do that right here. And generally text box like that, make the multi-line, properties, scroll bar vertical, and I'm just going to name it txt display. So really what I want is that when I click here, I collect data for the employee, which includes first name, last name, social security number, hours worked, and the pay rate. But really that's best done using a form. So when I click here, a form should pop up, on which I can add all the information. Okay. So in essence, you need to include another form in your application. So we go to our Solution Explorer, right click, add a Windows form, and I want to call it add employee from keyboard. And as soon as you do that, this second form pops up, and here you'll need a label showing first name and the text box for that, last name, text box for that, and so on. And to cut down the labor of drawing all those, and you already know how to do those, I've done them in C# also. So I'm just gonna copy and paste from there, and that gives me a little bit that Okay, so I'm just going to copy and paste here and paste into the other form. There you go. Okay. So you know how to do all these, how to create the label and the text box. These were already created. I just copied and pasted them. So my form is ready, although it doesn't have any intelligence in it yet. I'm going to put that in a minute. So if I double click on record data, I should fill out the code here that'll execute when this form is filled and the data are to be processed. Okay, so one simple part is that I need to get all the data from these text boxes and build an employee first, because this is an employee processing form. Add employee from keyboard. You can change this text if you wanted to. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 text boxes. So let me just get the input from them. So I said dim first name string is txt first dot text dot trim. So meaning of that is that they will type a first name here and this code line will get that and store that into variable first. We do the same thing for the last name, equal to txt last dot text dot trim. And names of these text boxes are, this is txt first, this is txt last, and so on. So in the C# application from where I copied and pasted already had changed the name from defaults text box 1, text box 2, etc. to the qualified names that I'm using right now. And same thing we do for the social security number. Dim SSN is txt SSN. So one more time, this name is given by me. .NET will put text box 1, text box 2, text box 3. You have to change them to have a better name. Okay, easily identifiable name. Pay rate is double type. So we say dim rate equal to double dot parse txt rate dot text dot trim, and I'm sorry, rate is not double type, it's decimal type. Okay. Hours is the double type. Parse hours text trim. Okay, I got all my data, so I could actually build an employee object now. So I'll say dim emp new employee. Okay, and okay, so I can't build it until I have added employee class and the employee list class to my project, which is not there. So let's do that now. So notice this does not really have employee and employee list class. So let's add those. And the way I'm going to show you how to add those is not a very elegant way. You should really compile each class as a DLL and use those rather than raw copy and paste code that I'm going to do here. So I'm going to use a method that's less used in industry, probably never used, but that's what we have right now. So I'm going to do that. So add employee class first. So I'm just going to add a class, call it employee. And and can delete that. Now I copy and paste from my other code this one here. So go to employee.vb, and I'll delete the namespace later, but I'll just copy and paste the whole thing and paste it here. Namespace is not necessary, so I'm going to delete that. In any case, it's not going to match the other one, so we can delete that. And it's very important to compile right now. Make sure that if any references had to be added here, in fact, you can eyeball the code and make sure there are no red lines, but in any case I can compile, and it says build succeeded, means everything is okay. So this code imported to this Windows application will work. And then same way I add new item employee list class. I want to make it part of this project. Delete all that, and then I go to my other project which had the employee list, copy that, come back and paste that here, delete the namespace, nobody knows in VB what namespace is really, and eyeball it, make sure there are no errors, compile it, make sure there are no errors. Okay, now I can go back to that form I was working on, and I can do dim employee, new employee, because now I have the employee here. And use this constructor, first registering, first, last, HRS, rate, and SSN. So I built the employee that I want to add to the list, but the question now is, where would I add it? Okay, well, for that, this is what we have to do. We go back to our form 1 here, double click and open the code. So this is the class form 1 to which we want to add the employee that we built in the other form. So technique to do that is we declare a employee list here at the class level and as a public shared member. Shared is same as static. Public shared EAL is new employee list. So this line 2 will create an empty employee list. Okay, so this is accessible in add employee form code using the syntax form1.eal. So really, if I want access to that EAL, I'll just do this form1.eal dot add employee. Okay, that's a bit surprising. It should have shown. And once again, in VB.NET, this is one complaint I have with VB.NET, that IntelliSense really doesn't work very well. So I'm just going to have to go and just get that. Here's the add employee. And pass it EMP. So it'll get added to this employee list which we actually defined over here, because using the syntax that form1.eal, it's visible here as well. Okay. All right. The last thing is that not last but one before last, is that when I click this menu, that form that I just built to collect employee data should pop up, and I'm gonna have to pause the video. Once again, it's the memory issue. So much memory is taken by the video that if I double click, it doesn't give me the code window. So let me pause and come back. Okay, so we have to add the code that will display our second form, this one, when I clicked on that menu, and I have to add that code right here. And that's actually very easy to do. I say dim form f is new, and you just take the name of this form. In fact, all you have to do is copy this file name, and that's exactly the class name of that form. Okay, why didn't this work? That should have worked. Okay, let me see. Well, let's try this name then. Dim. I'm sorry. I don't need the word form here. Okay, there you go. Yeah, my mistake. And then I say f dot show dialog. So this will show up that form, and when we process that form, data for one employee will be added to this here, and data for more than one employee can be added at the same time. Now, it's a good idea to confirm what you're doing is through a console output, and you can have console show up in Windows application very easily. Just change the project properties, change it from Windows Form application to console, and before shipping it you can change it back to Windows Form application. Okay, so it doesn't really hurt to keep it during the development period. And then I had built the employees here, add it to the list. I can easily confirm by printing to the console whether it was done correctly or not. Right line, and just print for1.eal. So even before I do more work on my form to print it into the text box or something, I can confirm right here whether it's working or not by printing to the console. Okay, let's run it. Build succeeded, no errors. Control F5, and let's see, I'm gonna move it just a little bit so that whatever prints here, you can see that very clearly as well. And now this is my employee form, second form, first form, second form, and let's say entering Sam Jones, social security number 223344, hours worked 35, pay rate 10. It's a record data, and see, that got recorded, added to the AL. Reset, once that is coded, delete all these automatically. Haven't done that, so just change few things. 40 hours, pay rate 15, record data, and this time both should show up because they are both in the list. So Sam Jones and Tim Jones both are showing up. Okay, so it looks like my multiple forms are working, and the only thing I need to do now is just test out just a little bit, printing to this console here. And once again, to get this working, I'll have to pause the video so I can get the code window for this. Okay, so now since my list is already built, I can print that to text box also. So I'll say txt display dot append text, and just do eal dot toString, and now it'll print to the text box. So let's do the last step now, building the form, building the list from Windows Form and then printing it to the text box. Succeeded. And this time I'm just going to move it here again. So add employee to keyboard. Once again we will do, actually I want you to see this, so I'm gonna have to put it somewhere here. First name Sam Jones 112233 35 10. Record data, and our console print shows that it's working perfectly. And then I say Tim, last name same, change the social security number, change the hours worked, change the pay rate to 15 or 14. Record data, and you can see it's all there, but it's gonna be okay. So I guess I have to get rid of this phone before I print that. And if I print to text box, same thing here, Sam Jones and Tim Jones and so on. So that's the mechanics of building Windows application with multiple form. Okay, so once again, this was Windows Forms application with more than one form, VB.NET version. I'm Dr. Satish Singhal, PhD. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon in future videos.